Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 358, and whoo, I am excited about next week. So next week is a crazy week for me. Marnie, the wing girl from Wing Girl Method on YouTube, is coming into town on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 episodes, 3 dudes, 3 dates, 3 chick magnet episodes filmed. Hopefully. We'll see. Everything right now seems like it's all like planned out and lined up, but things are probably going to change as we get into it. But yeah, so Marnie's coming into town. I think I mentioned this before that she's coming into town, and we're going to film 3 episodes of a new series that I've been really kind of like excited to try out, because I've been just really wanting to do more like fun, exciting content, and the Alpha M project was something that I love doing, but I feel like it's time to kind of, shake it up a little bit and do something a little bit different. And so engaging and having Marnie, who is awesome, to give dating advice. I'm going to give the dude makeovers, take him to the salon, get his hair cut, and then we're actually going to send him out on a date, right? To get feedback and basically just to help these dudes become the ultimate chick magnets, right? And so really excited about that. And we're filming 3 episodes, 3 days in a row. It's going to be a long week. I'm not going to get much done other than that, but super excited about that. Something that I mentioned in last vlog, if you guys watched it, is the fact that we at Salon Posta are thinking about possibly expanding or starting another kind of business. And the business that I mentioned was a med spa. Now, med spa, what is it? It's basically like, lasers and fillers and Botox, things of that nature. The term like med spa is basically kind of, it can encompass a lot of things. And the reason why we've been kind of thinking about this is because a lot of our customers have been coming in and saying, hey, do you do Botox? Do you do fillers? Do you do this? Do you do that? And that is where there is so much money. The markup and the margin on like a Botox injection is insane. The lasers that do like laser resurfacing or whatever, like there's all sorts of like crazy lasers that are out there now that you can go and have a treatment. A treatment might be like $500. It takes literally like 3 minutes to do, and they like zap you. Anyway, it'll like remove like crow's feet and rosacea and things of that nature. And my wife's had it done. And so I'm fairly familiar with what she spends. I'm also fairly familiar with the market. There's a guy that I know that used to have a chain of physical therapy studios. And he sold out to a big company, and then he and his wife decided to go into the med spa business. And so he opened up a few med spas, and so I kind of have a little bit of information and insight from him in terms of what they can do. And it's something that we've been thinking about. And so we've kind of gone down the road of exploring, like, okay, what licenses do we need? How much is the startup cost going to be? What lasers, what do they cost? Like, what does it look like in terms of a business? And so the other reason why it's so kind of alluring to us is that not only do we have a tremendous amount of crossover in our current business with the people coming in asking for these services already, we also can integrate the software that we use. So really it's kind of like a no-brainer a little bit. But there are some issues that we're running into. And the main one is finding a location near where we have our salon. There really isn't much available. And so we're looking at locations, we're doing all the math, trying to figure out numbers. I do not ideally want to buy another building, but there are a few of them that if they came available or were available, I may be interested, but I have enough real estate in my portfolio. And so, yeah, so we're exploring it. We don't know. The salon is doing incredibly well. And so we are not maxed out there in terms of capacity and revenue, but we feel like this would be just they talk about like low hanging fruit, right? This fruit is almost like on the ground. And so we are trying to figure out what it would look like, who would run it, who would manage it, what would happen at the salon, if Courtney would go to the med spa, and then Emily, we would promote her to be the main man. So there's a lot in it. Something else I just want to mention real quick, and I'll tell you more as that kind of unfolds. It's very, very, very early preliminary kind of exploration of the business, the model, and everything, the legalities surrounding it. But it's interesting to me. Because the other cool thing, like Botox, is once a woman starts getting it, or a dude for that matter, they keep doing it. Like every 3 months, they go back in for like a fresh or refresher. And so and the margins, like I said, it's insane. Something else that I just want to mention, and I don't know why, but a friend of mine died recently. Actually, last Saturday, I got a call from Steven. Steven cuts his hair. I've known this guy, Tony, for a long time. Not my running partner and our business partner, Tony. But this guy, Tony, I've known him ever since I had the nutrition store. He was into bodybuilding. He was into that lifestyle. And he's always had a really great physique. I assume, not assume, he's always been into some type of like performance enhancing something, whether or not it's testosterone, TRT, or whatever. He competed in bodybuilding. And so this isn't like some like weird secret. Apparently he like had a heart attack and died on Saturday night or Friday night. I found out about it on Saturday. And it was another one of those times, man. He was like 49. He was like my age. And just another one of these things where I'm like, damn. I said, man, it seems like there are all these people like our age that are dying. Like, what's going on? He's like, no, they've always been dying at this age. He's like, my grandfather died at like 49. And then I started thinking more about it. And it's true, but I've just gotten older. And so now I'm having to kind of face it with a lot more regularity. And it's very alarming. And it's sad, honestly. And this dude was so nice. So nice. He was just a great dude. And it's just sad. It's sad when somebody, you see him one day and literally like this. And just got into a great new relationship. He was super in love. Like, it's just crazy. Guys, don't do steroids. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything to your body that you don't need to do, right? Take care of it. Be as healthy as possible. And go and get checked. I keep talking about that. Go and get screened. Go get your heart scan. Go and get your colonoscopy. If you catch these things early, you can do something about it. I have no idea whether or not Tony went in to have any of these precautions, but it seems like if I know the type of dude he was, it seems like he would have. And so, anyway, super sad stuff. But what's not sad is your business question. Actually, technically, the first one that you guys had about the name Alpha is a little sad. There were a lot of business questions on the last vlog, which is awesome, makes my job a little bit easier. Guys, if you've got a business question down below, start it with business question and ask your question. Each week, we try to get to some of them. This question is something that I've already thought about heavily, and it's from our friend Ruben. He says, with the popularization of the word alpha and its negative interpretation by some people nowadays, did you ever feel pushback or pressure by sponsors or business partners to change the name of the channel? He goes on to say, in that spirit, besides doing the ad, how much control do sponsors have over your creative process? And have they ever tried to overstep your boundaries, my boundaries? So to answer that question, other than the sponsorship, they really don't give any input. They have no control over the content that I do. Now, that being said, there have been a few times where I've done a video, I thought it was like a good video, and the sponsor's been like, no, I don't want to be a part of that message, that content. It was usually something to do with like girls or whatever. And so no, they pretty much give you the freedom to do whatever you do, which is one of the great things about the sponsors that we have. But in terms of the name Alpha, is it something that I've considered changing? No, I have not considered changing the name Alpha M for my YouTube channel, because it's kind of like, I've been doing it since 2008. And the reason, for you guys that have been around for a while, you know that the reason why I started it and called it Alpha M was because I had an image consulting business called Alpha M Image Consulting. I started a YouTube channel to give style advice, and then it transitioned into grooming advice and other lifestyle advice. And I'm like, okay, Alpha M, let's just call it that. And so that's how the name Alpha came about. Nowadays, you are 100% correct. The term Alpha is, for a lot of people, a very negative word, right? It's become and gotten a negative connotation, which kind of sucks. Is it something where I'm going to change? No, but the interesting thing, my buddy Jordan Harbinger just sent me a clip the other day. And actually, let me see if I can pull it up. It was actually a screenshot. So Jordan sends me the screenshot of something he was watching, and it was an attorney talking about like the rise of like toxic masculinity, all right? Look who's pictured in there. You've got basically Andrew Tate, you've got Jordan Peterson, you've got, sorry about that, who else do you have? You have Kevin Samuels, you've got the guy from Fresh and Fit podcast, who else is in there? Ty Lopez, and then you've got me. It's like, I responded to him like, whoa, how did I get grouped into these? And he's like, oh, I don't know, I think they just saw your name, and basically they're talking about like toxic masculinity. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But my content is in no way, shape, or form in the manosphere or like that. But because I have the name Alpha whatever, people assume that or think that. And it's just something that I've kind of just been like, yeah, I've embraced it. Now, that being said, I do feel, and I don't know, I can't prove this, but I do feel that some of my content or my channel is not as okay, how do I say this? I feel like the algorithm definitely, because of alpha, right? And there is like some negativity associated with that. I do feel like if my name was like how to look great as a dude, right? I think like YouTube and the rhythm and all algorithm would be like, oh, okay, let's show that. But because it's alpha M, I think it may be suppressing my channel a bit, but I can't prove that. I'm just noticing a few things. And anyway, so am I going to change it? The answer is hell no. You know what? I'm in this alpha M, I love that name. It's not necessarily ideal at this point in time, but it is what it is. And I don't apologize for that, but great question. But the name Alpha M is definitely staying. Let's see. There are a few other business questions that I thought were awesome. Okay. Where was another one? There we go. All right. So here's the deal. Our friend Joker Maniacs, sorry for butchering that, but he says, what are some of their top bits of advice for influencer marketing? I got my brand to where it is from 2018 to 2020, but now it's not as effective. Everyone wants $2,000 just for a post. Don't actually cause sales, and if they get paid commission, the code gets picked up by the coupon sites, and that's not fair to us or them. But brands nowadays are exploding because of how many influencers they're using. Young LA, your brands, Alphalete, etc. What should we start adopting in influencer marketing to execute this? So this is a great question because yes, influencer marketing is tough, right? Because a lot of people think that if somebody just has a big audience or gets a lot of views, that they're going to be effective. So they're going to pay them a lot of money. They do the deal, and they're like, wait a second, where are all the sales? Because just because you get a lot of views does not necessarily mean that you're effective. And now you're absolutely correct. People want thousands of dollars just to post a story on Instagram, and he got 2,000 followers, right? So what Josh has done really well with the Tiege Hanley influencer strategy is really figuring out how to qualify and quantify people's success. Even though this is what you're charging, this is what we feel that you're worth. And you basically give them a number, and if they say yes, they say yes. If they say no, they say no. Or maybe it's something where you work out a deal where it's like, okay, you're going to take a little bit less than you normally would, but I'm going to commit to 4 videos, 5 videos, or work in some type of spiff or bonus on the back end if they perform better than you hope they would, or they expect, or you expected them to. And so really, Josh has done an amazing job really vetting people and just really increasing the amount, the quantity, and the stable of dudes, right? The other thing, though, like you mentioned, is the codes, right? You give somebody an affiliate code, the coupon sites pick them up. Which is why with Pete and Pedro, I'll put a coupon code out and then I'll change it. I'll change it within a few days because that's one of the reasons. People, or you put a code out there and then the places like Honey or some of these other shopping apps will pick it up, and then people are getting benefit, or I should say whoever's code is there, it's going to make you less money because people wouldn't necessarily know you had a code, but it's auto-filling a code in there. And then the person who had that code is getting benefit, or it's making it look like it was them, so they're getting commission on something that they had nothing to do with. And so it's bad for a few different reasons. So for Pete and Pedro, whenever I put out a coupon, it's like, okay, 20% off, and I put it out there. And it'll only be good for 2 days. And then boom, I kill it, and I make the code something less, like 10% or whatever. And I'm fine allowing the coupon code companies and sites to actually pick them up. But we do have audits, and we do basically, when we think that one is being abused, we will kill it. The other thing is, if you come to my website, you're going to get 15% off for signing up for different things, right? Whether or not it's a text message alert or the newsletter. And so it's actually better than the 10% off that's kind of out there just floating. But it's amazing how many people still don't use coupon codes. I think it's like 40% at Tiege Hanley come in, no discount, right? Tiege Hanley, though, where we are seeing a lot of, couponing and discounting is through the influencer world, right? And so what we have had to spend a tremendous amount of time, energy, resources, and brain power behind is figuring out the landing pages and making sure that we're giving these influencers unique links that are directing to a specific landing page that we can update, we can change, but it's not necessarily a coupon code that's out there on the web, online, that's going to get used a ton. And so if you can control them a little bit better with unique URLs and making that landing page have the discount baked in, that's going to eliminate a lot of the issue in terms of the abuse that goes on with couponing. And so just some ideas, but yeah, you've got to bet it's tough. So just so you know, YouTube still the best bang for your buck in terms of influencers, but some of the more popular people do not necessarily mean that some of the more popular people do not equate to bigger, better sales. We've done some ads, we've taken some swings with some big creators that were kind of a bust, but the cool thing is if you're willing and you're able to do the due diligence and really spend the time looking for people, we have found some unbelievable like bargains, right? Josh does an incredible job, and the entire marketing team at really vetting, figuring out, and then when we find somebody that does a great job, if they work, you're going to want to go back to them, right? And so it's a very mutually beneficial relationship, but it doesn't come by just sending an email to an influencer who has a lot of people and or subscribers or viewers and being like, hey, will you do a deal? Here's $10,000. Don't do that. And remember, you can always negotiate. And the way that I like to say it or think of it is, you know, if you go to an influencer, right, normally they may charge $2,000. And I do this all the time at Pete and Pedro and at Tiege Hanley, right? Maybe their normal rate is $2,000. Be like, I'll pay you $750. No, I can't take that. Okay, peace. Let me know if you change your mind. Well, they've got to create content anyway, right? And so making $750 is better than making zero. And so a lot of times when you do this and you just throw out an offer, not like insulting, like I'm good, I'll give you 10 bucks. You'll be like, no, screw you. I'm not even going to mess with that. I'll promote my own product. But giving them some type of offer that's less than what they would want, but still it allows you. And that's one of the conversations you need to have with them as well is, okay, well, we'll try this. Let's test this. Do a video at this or do 2 videos at this price. And let's see. If it works, I'll come back to you and we can up your rate and no problem, right? But I got to test you. The other thing that influencers should have is some type of case studies, right? Where it's like, okay, well, do you have any data? If you've got data on companies that you have worked with, the other thing is, here's another thing. If you go to an influencer and you're looking, right, how many times does a company or a sponsor work with them? If it's only once or twice, that means that they weren't effective. If there's repetitive ads that you're seeing, like Dollar Shave Club or Audible or Tiege Hanley or whatever, that means that it's working enough for that brand to come back and actually use them again. And so influencer marketing, I could go on and talk about it for days. I am one, but it's something that you just need to really figure out. And I get it. And I know it's hard. And it is, though, like with Tiege Hanley, it's one of the reasons why we've been able to grow and scale is because we've finally kind of figured out that mechanism and we've got a good process behind it. And so it's allowing us to scale. But in the past, and even still, you can waste a ton of money testing people out. And Tiege has wasted a ton of money. And Pete and Pedro hasn't wasted that much because I am very reluctant to do it because I know that it's really hard to get your money back. Craziest thing. All right, I just got an email from Mike Levy at Pete and Pedro about this one influencer that we're talking to about doing a promotion or a review for Legend, our new fragrance. He came back and he said he wants $2,250 for the video. His videos get around 25,000 views. I can tell him we can go no more than we did last time, $900. For $900, I think it's worth it. $2,250, it is not worth it. And we won't go over $9. If he passes, he passes. Won't go over $9. Yep. So there it is, right? Dude, $2,500 or $2,250, you know, do it, right at whatever. You can charge whatever you want to charge. We won't pay that because we also have historical data that shows what we got off of the last promotion that we worked with him where we paid $900. And we know that he's not worth it in terms of the way that we view worth it. Tiege Hanley views worth it a little bit different, but the LTV is different and the strategy and the CPA acquisition cost is a little bit more flexible with Tiege Hanley as opposed to with Pete and Pedro. I want to know, like, okay, when am I making my money back? how does it work, and all that good stuff. But that's so funny that just came in. This next business question comes up a lot. I've actually tried to answer it a few times, but for whatever reason, my answer is always like, were weird, and I'm like, that sucks. I'll answer it again. It's from Eric L. Eric L., I'll answer your question finally. He says, I've always wondered this. Why do Pete and Pedro and Tiege Hanley both have similar products in terms of deo, body wash, etc.? Are the sales both there in both businesses? Why wouldn't you put all of your eggs into one basket and spend the money to push the same product in both businesses? So basically, like, what he's saying is like, okay, so if I come out with a deodorant, Tiege Hanley should push the same deodorant. Anyway, the short answer to this is that they're two separate companies. Pete and Pedro, I own 100% of. Tiege Hanley, I do not. I'm a partner in that. All right, both companies do incredibly well. All right, Tiege Hanley has a higher top line in terms of gross revenue. Pete and Pedro has a higher profitability, right? Two different businesses. Now, the thing you need to understand is that Tiege Hanley started with skincare. That's the reason why I was so excited to get involved, because I was already doing hair care over at Pete and Pedro. And so Pete and Pedro will always be hair product focused. Tiege Hanley will always be skincare focused, with the emphasis being on your face. But being a smart business man and men, we know that, okay, once they come in with the skincare, we have other products that we could potentially develop, and they would love it just like they love their skincare, because they know we're coming out with great products. And so it's just about offering your customers and trying to increase the LTV or lifetime value of that customer. But the other thing is that we do have a lot of crossover. A lot of people use Pete and Pedro hair product, Tiege Hanley face products. Now, in terms of where they buy their deodorant or their body washes or whatever these auxiliary products, I don't care, right? As long as they're in the alpha fold, I'm good, right? Because both businesses have their unique marketing. Both businesses have great things working. Both businesses have incredible products. They're different products, but they're incredible. Great question. Thanks for asking. But all your eggs in one basket is never a good idea. The next business question I love. It's from our friend Caesar Charlotte III. How do you know when you should put a product into your existing business instead of making a new company for that line of product? For Enemy, you made a new company, but for the multivitamin, I got them on my desk. See, that's why they're on my desk. Because if you need, okay, so one of the little hacks, if you've got something like a vitamin, a probiotic or whatever, because where are they? Anyway. One habit is put it where you're going to be, whether or not it's by your toothbrush or, for me, on my desk, right? Boom. But here, you just know it's going to be there, so it reminds you. You take it, and anyway, great question. Let's talk about it real quick. So when do you know when to add a product to an existing line versus starting a new business? So with Enemy, completely different business, right? Accessories, primarily sunglasses. And so with that, I wanted to start a different, entity, because I didn't want to roll it up under Pete and Pedro, thinking that the marketing would be easier, thinking that, it was going to be a standalone brand. And that's really the thing, right? Stubble Buddy, great example. The Stubble Buddy, originally, I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Am I just going to have this as an auxiliary product under Pete and Pedro? Or should I start its own website, its own thing, stubblebuddy.com, and try and make it like a brand? Well, the cool thing with Shopify is that you can actually create multiple stores under one account. So you don't actually have to set up a new LLC or tax ID number or anything like that. And so I thought, all right, let me try this. I wanted to launch Stubble Buddy, and this was another one of those businesses that I was like, all right, if I can figure out the marketing, the paid advertising for this thing, maybe it'll go viral, maybe it'll become like its own brand, like the Squatty Potty or something like that. It didn't. Just say no. And actually, this week, we shut down or redirected the Stubble Buddy website to the Pete and Pedro page that we're still selling it. We also sell it on Amazon. And so, it was, let me see, if it feels like it's a different product or I should say, if it doesn't feel like it fits into a specific line, that's probably an answer to start its own business. In terms of the multivitamin, we already did like a hair multivitamin, a biotin gummy, and so it was kind of like a transition over to that. And we also polled our audience, like, what products do you want? And one of the top ones was a multivitamin, a whole food derived multivitamin. And so that's how it happened. In terms of how to choose, it really depends on whether or not it fits or doesn't fit But great question. This kills me. So Lord Farquaad says, Alpha, you're killing me, bro. You got to start pronouncing the word length correctly. So I say length, right? I think I pronounce length. I pronounce certain things really funny, right? Water. I'm from Philly, right? So we all pronounce it water, not water. There are other words that I also pronounce. Donkey. I say donkey, and it's donkey, right? I say donkey. I'm from Philly, man. We say things different. Length. I guarantee if I call my mom right now, actually, I'm gonna prove a point. Hold on. Here we go. Ready, Mom? I'm gonna watch. Ready?
Hey there.
Hey, Mom. All right, I am recording this, so I need you to pronounce a few words for me. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So, Donkey.
Donkey.
Okay. Water.
I had some vitamins in my mouth. Water.
Water, exactly. And what about Length?
Length.
Exactly. Thanks, Mom. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Exactly the same as me, right? Donkey, water, length. It's genetic. It's actually geographical. Let's see. Are there any other business questions? Okay, one more business question from our friend Krunjlar Zinzala. What's up? Says, sir, I've seen your Alpha M video about getting sued. So, sir, my question is, generally speaking, what do you do in this particular thing or situation happens ever again if you know that you haven't done anything wrong, and what other entrepreneurs do if this situation arises? Okay, so I talked a little bit about I did a video talking about I'm getting sued by a company over the name Superfresh, which if you missed that video, you should watch it. I'm not getting sued, for the record. They threatened that if I didn't change it, that by the year 2025, they would be taking legal action against everybody. So it was just easier for me to be like, you know what, F it. I'm just going to call it Fresh. So what was the question again? Okay, so one of the things that I did with that, because I kind of know what the deal is when it comes to trademarks and what you can and can't trademark, and I saw this business, I saw this brand, I saw what they were claiming. I'm like, no, you can't trademark this. I'm totally cool calling it this. But it was one of those things where, do I want to worry about it in the future? Say everything goes right for them, all their applications are successful. Like, do I even want to deal with it? Do I want to even fuck with it? Do I even want to have any part of my brain thinking that in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, somebody's going to try to do something again? Because the only person that wins in any type of legal anything is the lawyer, right? Their lawyer is telling them, yeah, let's send him a cease and desist. Yeah, let's go after him again. Yeah, let's do this. Even if it's complete crap, even if the lawyer knows it's ridiculous, they're going to do it because what happens? They make money, of course, right? They'll send as many letters as their client wants them to, or they will convince the client that they should, because the lawyer should have been like, you know what? There's nothing that this dude is doing wrong. There's no reason for you to even send this or waste your money. But he didn't, and look what happened. They got their way. In the future, though, I just called the attorney up. I was like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. In the future, though, I should not have done that, you know, and I read all the comments, I got all the emails, and when I really sat back and thought about things, it's like, you know what? You should let attorneys talk to attorneys. I have attorneys. I've got lots of insurance that protects me in different areas of my life and my business and my everything, right? I've got resources to pay, so I should have been like, yo, this is bullshit, boom, called my attorney, been like, yo, this is ridiculous, I'm sending it over, respond, right? And let them handle it. And I would have paid a few $100s or whatever. They would have gone back and forth, and I probably would have been done with it. And in the future, I can tell you that I will do that, all right? Because I know that was not the best solution. I know that, you know, I know better. I know better, but it was just such a thing that I was like, this is so stupid. I'm just going to call them and be like, listen. And I also was not like, oh my God, if it was the name Pete and Pedro, right? I'm a little more committed to that. But calling a fragrance super fresh versus fresh or fucking fresh or whatever. Like, I don't care. Whatever. You that upset about it? Like, I'll change it. No big deal. But in the future, I will not be that easy or willing to roll over, just so you know. But thank you for your question. And I guess the answer, the takeaway is ask an attorney. If you ever get a cease and desist or anything like that, you can either A, ignore it, it probably won't go away, or B, contact your attorney and have them fire something back. And typically what happens is when the attorney fires something back saying, F you, it's ridiculous, like, you know better, it stops. But because I was the one engaging, they came back, they got their way. And so that won't happen again. What I do hope, let me try that again. What I do hope happens again is you coming back next week. Gentlemen, down below, start with business question. Next week, I'm going to have a lot of weird stuff happen. I got Marnie in town. I got dudes in town. I got women. I got Christian. I got my dad. I got a lot of pieces happening. So I don't know what the vlog is going to look like next week. But I'm going to try to get to your business questions. Down below, start with business question and ask it. But next week, it could be like a 5-minute, like, what's up, is Marnie? And she'd be like, hey, guys, or whatever. I don't know. I can't think or plan that far ahead.